So they finally admitted it. Fox and Friends is basically the propaganda arm of the Republican Party. Not just Fox and Friends, but Fox News Channel as a whole. Not only are they the propaganda arm of the Republican Party, they're also basically the channel of Donald Trump. Now, they have a new message. Bow your head, media. If you're a member of the media, you need to bow, you need to submit to the president just like we have. Now, before I get into who gave that message and why, I want to give you some context, right? Now, recently, Axios's Jim Vandehei had asked President Trump about his attacks on the media. Now, Donald Trump has been saying, oh, they're fake news. I mean, look, that started even before the election. The media is fake news. And then he escalated it into the press is the enemy of the people, right? So he's been doing that. And Vandehei is going to ask him about that and if he's worried about any sort of violence against the media. Let's take a look at that video.
To be honest, like what scares the crap out of me is that if you're saying enemy of the people,
God forbid, to fight back. You're
but
right.
No, but hold on a second. But one second. But this thing, God forbid that like somebody like you've got fervent supporters. They love you. They listen to you. Enemy of the people. Enemy of the people.
They like me more because of that.
They like you more. But what happens if all of a sudden someone gets shot? Someone shoots one of these reporters.
Jim,
is that? But I don't think you think we're the enemy of the people.
I don't. But if you gave me false reports, I would say that's not a good thing for our country.
But don't you worry at all? I mean, you are like the most powerful man in the world, and if you say that word, enemy, literally tens of thousands of people go into a stadium to listen to you, and then people go on social media and they get themselves so jazzed up. There's got to be a party that's like, damn it, I'm scared that someone is going to take it too far.
It's my only form of fighting back. I couldn't be here if I did that.
You won. You have the presidency.
No. But I did this before I won.
I mean, I did this before I won, and then I won, so I'm going to keep doing it. So he knows that it is dangerous. He knows that, hey, man, look, one of my supporters could go crazy or already is crazy and attack somebody. But you know what? I don't care. I don't give a shit. See, he doesn't care that his rhetoric, calling the press the enemy of the people, could end up jeopardizing people's lives. Doesn't give a shit. Doesn't care. Now, here's the thing. The media, it means a lot of things. Establishment, mainly. But let's be clear. It is not the enemy of the people. And that kind of rhetoric is incredibly dangerous, puts a lot of people in danger. For example, you guys remember Greg Gianforte, right? Literally body slamming a reporter. And Trump later on saying, oh, I like that. I think that's strong. Basically telling the supporters, if you body slam a reporter, fantastic. I love it. In fact, that basically gives them permission to do so implicitly, right? So now, there's your context. So now I'm going to get back to Fox News. Now, Fox News, they talked about that clip. And here's what Ainsley Earhart actually had to say about it. Let's take a look.
How frustrating would it be if you're the president of the United States and every single time you turn on the TV, on most of the channels, they're misconstruing what you say, and you know your heart and you know your words and you know your voice, and then you watch other people report on what you say and it's completely different than what you mean. Well, that has to be frustrating, and that's why he's saying it's fake news. And he's saying if you don't want to be called the enemy, then get the story right, be accurate, and report the story the way that I want it reported.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Report the story the way that I want it reported. And you know what's funny? Kilmeade, he's like, oh yeah, no, that's such a good point. Media, bow your head. Media, do the reporting that the president wants you to do, the way that he wants you to do it, and then you won't be the enemy of the people. Wow. So, you know what this is, by the way? This is political correctness. This isn't the fake, right-wing, alt-right version of political correctness where, you're all mad because you can't say the N-word. No, this is actual political correctness. The real definition of, which is basically saying things that might not be factually correct, but are politically correct. Things that help the government. Like, yeah, I say things that aren't factually correct, but they help the administration. So you know what? They are politically correct. That's what Fox News wants the rest of the media to do. That's what Ainsley Earhart accidentally admitted. Well, I want the rest of the media to be politically correct and say nice things about the president. And report news the way that the president wants us to report news, which of course, as you know, is positive news stories about the president, which is what Fox News does every day. They report things that are favorable to the president every single day. They are doing politically correct propaganda. So there it is. I mean, if you didn't realize that Fox News is nothing more than a propaganda outlet for the White House, for the Republican Party at this point, well then, there you go. They just admitted it. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.